All aboard and welcome back to Animation Station. I am Brandon T. McClure. With me today is my good friend Ben Magnet.
Choo choo! All aboard!
We are here to talk about part 2 of the Digimon Adventure Tri series. If you haven't seen part 1 yet, please go do it. We're going to be talking about the second part, Digimon Adventure Tri Determination. Now, this one is directed by Kitaro
How's it spelled? Is it spelled Keita?
Motonaga. I can't read my handwriting. This is the problem. I can't read my handwriting. Kitaro Motonaga, written by Yuko. Now, is that a B or an H? Is the real question.
I don't know. I can't see what you wrote.
I think it's Kakihara.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, I'll write more legibly for the next one. I apologize. Right. So we're following up from Digimon Adventure Tri, which was the first one was Reunion.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're in Determination. So why don't we just get some initial thoughts out of the way? Ben, what did you think about this one?
I enjoyed it. This was I remember last time when we talked about Digimon Tri, we were talking about how this probably would have been better as like a television series. You can definitely feel like the more television, like it was originally written as a series and then it was split into movies at the last second. Especially with like the first, say, 20 minutes of them having shenanigans in the bathhouse. But other than that, what I do enjoy about these Tri movies a lot is that it definitely takes different members of the Digi-Destined and it kind of focuses on them for a little while. Like they have their own problems. They're like obviously the first one was about Tai and Matt. Like Tai is like, why are we fighting if we're causing so much damage? With Mimi and Joe, like Joe is having his own existential crisis, and Mimi is just trying to reach out. So I really enjoy that how each film kind of focuses on a different kids of the Digi-Destined.
Yeah.
While still going through this overarching plot. Still a lot more questions than answers, but I still really enjoyed this movie.
So this one is, of the two, my favorite. I really liked this one. I had a really good time. So I'm currently watching, and Ben, you haven't started it yet, I'm assuming, Digimon Adventure 2020.
No, I haven't
which is
started it yet.
the reboot series of the Digimon series we grew up on. Dude, it's insane. It's an insane show. Like, they are insane. War Greymon showed up and he's the size of a skyscraper. I was like, what the yeah, they changed the sizes of a lot of Digimon.
How big is Metal Greymon then?
Well, so it's the idea is that is that you grow in size as you digivolve. So it's your Agumon, then Greymon, then Metal Greymon, then War Greymon.
Okay, that makes sense. Because Metal Greymon was like super big, and then when he would digivolve into War Greymon, he's tiny.
Well, War Greymon's like the size of like maybe it's like two people.
Yeah, okay, maybe not tiny, but he's like, can you go from something that's like 20 feet tall to someone that's like 10 feet tall? Yeah,
I mean, because like the idea. So, and also this new series introduces this idea of digivolutions that are environmentally based.
Oh.
So depending on your environment, you digivolve differently.
Ooh.
And yeah, War Greymon's not the only mega. I won't say what happened, but it was when it happened, I was like, oh my god. I have no idea what's going on in the show anymore.
All right, don't spoil it.
No, I won't. But so one of the reason why I bring it up is because Digimon Adventure 2020 is a far more straight-faced version of what we grew up as Digimon. Mm-hmm. It's not as wacky. You know, you look at the original series. The original series wacky.
Oh yeah.
It's weird, it's comedic, it's wacky, and a lot of it does have to do with art dubbing. But there are certain things like they meet crazier Digimon, things like that. What I appreciated about this one so much is that it was focused on character first, and I didn't feel like this was 2 episodes of a TV show stitched together. I felt like this is Mimi and Joe's movie.
Mm-hmm.
This is the story that they're going to be going through, because at the end there's a big battle and not in the middle of it.
Right.
And I found myself very invested in the story that they were telling. And being able to focus more on Mimi and Joe, I think was really smart, because so often Tai and Matt get most of the character development.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate this movie on a really interesting level. Also, I just had I just had a really good time with this one. I just thought this one. It's a slow. It's pretty slow, but it's slow in a way that it's character based slow, and I never felt bored while watching it myself.
I definitely agree on that. I wasn't bored because there were parts of Reunion, because I do really like Reunion, but really my love of Reunion just comes from the fact of what Digimon we see. And we see Omnimon, War Greymon, Melgarurumon, War Greymon being my favorite Digimon. And with this one,
War Greymon crew unite.
Yeah, War Greymon crew. But I will agree that this is definitely, I mean, with the bathhouse scene or the sequence aside, you can tell this is Joe and Mimi's film.
Yeah.
Especially when Mimi is trying to get with, or not get with, but she's trying to crack open May's shell, like May's shell, and she's just like trying to get her to come. It's like, hey, let's go do this. And when she finds out that she can actually design clothes really, really well, and you know, her becoming part of the group. While I mean, the rest of the Digi-Destined, they're still doing their own thing. I was like, hey, we got to figure out what's going on. I love Leomon in this movie,
buddy. When do you not? Leomon is the best.
I will admit, though, I forgot that they changed his voice actor, because I remember from the once again. Oh, they didn't? That was the same voice from the original television show?
Yeah.
My brain is thinking of something completely different then.
I think, now, in fairness, so going off of Digimon Adventure 2020, Leomon isn't no big surprise. And his voice isn't the, well, what we're going to do about it. His voice is much more, but I think it's the same voice actor. I think the American voice for Leomon is always the same.
Okay.
I think it's the same guy in each iteration. I'm not 100% sure about this, but I did go back and look it up. It is the same one from Digimon Adventure to Digimon Adventure Tri.
Nice.
Because I looked up the scene where he dies as Saber Leomon against Edamon.
Yeah.
When he and Ogremon kind of have this kind of heart-to-heart. So Leomon, at first I was like, oh right, of course Leomon's alive. I forgot Leomon died in the original series.
Yeah, but he dies and comes back, because Digimon don't really die; they just come back as an egg and a Lekmon.
And we see in the beginning, we see that hatchery, in the little, I forgot the guy's name, but the Digimon's name, Lekmon. Thank you. We see both of them.
Yeah, the Digimon nursery.
I really appreciated that beginning, because we get to see Ogremon and Leomon is kind of upset that he has to fight Ogremon again, because they had a history now.
Yeah.
And it kind of goes to the sense of like there is something wrong in the digital world, something that's eating away at it. Leomon though, I love Leomon. Leomon might legitimately be the best Digimon they ever created.
Leomon is cool. I will not lie. And just seeing Leomon, like watching over the rest of the Digimon, like he's their caretaker.
So good.
And Mikumon is just like, please, and you see like the heart bump out of the chest, like in those old Bugs Bunny cartoons, and he's like, fine, and he always yells fine.
One of the things that I really like about this movie is the interactions between the Digimon. Not necessarily the Digi-Destined. I think the Digimon are really fun together. When it's just them talking and eating and getting in misadventures, I think they're really fun together. And talking to Leomon's just sitting there like, I hate all of you.
Or even then, because I remember, obviously, like, it's weird, because I had this thought when I was watching it last night, especially when all the rookie Digimon were just chilling in Izzy's office and they're eating, and I was like, when they're rookies, it's just like they're kids. It's just 100%. like they're like the kids, and so when they digivolve, that's when they become more stern adults. And then you look at Leomon, who is a champion level Digimon. He's champion, right?
Yeah. Fun fact: I didn't know this. Saber Leomon is a Mega. I thought he was an Ultimate.
I thought he was an Ultimate too.
Yeah. Apparently they say it in the original series, and I just don't remember. So don't come at me. This is a memory issue. Internet. The internet, this is a memory issue, not a continuity issue for me.
I mean, I just remember getting Saber Leomon as a card in the Digibattle card game back when that was a thing.
Yeah, apparently the fight that makes Leomon good again in Digimon Adventure allowed him to warp Digivolve to his Mega, not his Ultimate. I thought that was interesting.
I don't even know if he has an Ultimate or what his Ultimate is. Dude,
I went through a Leomon like deep dive and looked up all of his Digivolutions. They are wild. He's got one that looks like a pirate. It's really cool.
What?
I'm gonna show you if I can find it.
I need to look this up. But going off of Leomon, you're absolutely right that the shenanigans that the Digimon themselves get into it's they bring more character to the Digimon than you would think. Because obviously, when we're watching these shows when we were kids, or even today, you see the Digimon as I don't want to say accessories because they are their own characters, but Gomamon really tugged at my heartstrings, and he's like the one Digimon I never would have thought to have like a really hard emotional scene with Joe, or even why he left Joe. Because I always saw.
I agree. I think Gomamon is the MVP in this episode.
Oh yeah, or in this film. But I would because once again, playing back to nostalgia, we mentioned this in the first time we did when we did Reunion. We're gonna be mentioning the original series a lot, so because nostalgia is a hell of a drug.
Absolutely.
Gomamon was always the wisecracker. He was the smartass. He was the one who was always cracking the bad jokes, and he was just like, "Oh yeah, I go with the flow. I'm Gomamon. My attack is swimming fishes." And there's just like a bunch of fish just show up out of nowhere, and I just chill with these guys and swim around and have a good time until I digivolve into Kakumon. Then all y'all are wrecked.
Okay, I can't remember the Digimon's name. I'll just show you when we're done recording. The Digivolutions are, as I've gone through kind of a history of Digimon post Frontiers, which again, as we mentioned in our first episode, Frontiers was the last one that was easily accessible to us, to Americans, and from then it's very difficult to find the other shows. So the other shows are legally, I should say. The other shows are kind of a mystery, but they did introduce a lot of different Digivolution branches. Digimon, as we know it, Ben. If I were to tell you that Agumon digivolves to Greymon, to Metal Greymon, to War Greymon, that's it, right? And you would be like, yeah, that's not true. And even in Digimon Adventure, if you recall, Greymon digivolved into Skull Greymon.
He did, yeah.
So there are different Digivolution paths that you can take, that Digimon can take. I just looked up a thing. I don't know if it's true. I don't think it is. That Leomon could digivolve into Andromon. I don't think that's true. But it's kind of this thing of like, it's kind of the thing to exemplify that Digivolutions didn't, as we understand it, it's not a straight path like it is with Pokemon.
Right. To exemplify to postulate your theory even more, I remember when I was a kid with my original like Digimon Tamagotchi style thing, depending on who you picked as your starter Digimon, or as you picked as an egg, there was a Digivolution tree, but there were multiple paths. The same could be said with Digimon World, which was a video game for the PS1, which was essentially a full color version of the Tamagotchi game, but it also had different Digivolution paths. Yeah. And I could tell you for the longest time, every time I got my Agumon, I would raise him, I would train him, I would beef him up to try and digivolve into Greymon. And when he digivolved, it was always Tyrannomon.
Really?
Really.
Interesting.
Even when I finally digivolved Agumon, on my little Digivice, on my little Bandai Tamagotchi, he did digivolve into Greymon. He digivolved into Tyrannomon. And then even then, once you go, because there's like a whole different slew because the strategy guide, which I still have, I could probably bust it out next time we talk about Digimon. There's like in that strategy guide for the game, there's all these different trees. There's all these different paths, like all these different stat buffs that you can do to try and turn your Digimon into the desired Digimon that you want.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's like you need to have a certain strength and defense to evolve into Greymon. Then like a little bit under that, then you'll get Tyrannomon. But Tyrannomon can digivolve into Skull Greymon or even Metal Greymon.
Tyrannomon could digivolve into just Metal Greymon. Wow, that's fun.
Yeah, there's like a bunch of different, like you said, there's a bunch of different Digivolution trees, and even in the Digibattle card game, you could Digimon that you would think is like, oh, you should be able to digivolve into this. It's not, like you said, it's not a set thing like Pokemon. There's branches. It's like, oh, I don't have a certain card in my hand, but I can digivolve it to this one instead.
I'm going to spoil something from Adventure 2020 that you will most likely forget by the time you watch it. Patamon is unable to digivolve into Angemon after their battle with Devamon.
Oh.
So I was very confused then when they're doing the Patamon episode, and Patamon's going to digivolve because that's the trajectory of the episode, to Pegasusmon, which is his armor digivolution.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And so because it was a different path that Patamon could take to become a champion level Digimon again.
Yeah, I thought you needed like the Digi-Egg or the armor Digi-Egg to digivolve into Pegasusmon.
Apparently, the armor Digi-Eggs are only canon to Adventure 2 and are not a factor in Digivolutions going forward.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, anyway, but back to Tri.
Yeah, back to Tri.
So, Tri, I want to talk a little bit about. We see Ken in this episode. In the very beginning of the episode, we see Ken, and we're like, "Oh my god, the Digimon Emperor! Why is Ken here?" And
first note I have is WTF? What is Ken doing here? Call him, you idiots!
So I'm going to skip to the end when Kari and TK go, "Oh, it's Ken. Why is he here?" Guys, the reaction to the fact that your friend is showing up again as the Digimon Emperor should be bigger. Why are we not doing this? Seriously, call Ken. That's funny.
All caps.
And I get it's at the end of the movie. It's at the end of the movie, and they're not going to call him. Like, they're not going to call him right away. But the reaction to it isn't big enough for me to be like, yo, man, if my friend just showed up as the villain that we thought he was in the beginning of our adventure, I'd be pretty upset. But I'm like, oh, interesting. I wonder why Ken's here.
Yeah, even Mimi was like, hey, I think Ken took Mekumon. It's like, call him.
And then they kill Imperial Jamon. And I'm like, I legitimately had a thought. I was like, did they just kill Viamon and Warmon?
Yeah. And not only that, it's just like, this is evil. And they even says like, oh, Imperial Jamon. It's like, what the F is Imperial Jamon doing here?
Well, but like, if you need like a mega to fight, Imperial Jamon is very intimidating and whatnot. It's a really cool scene. But but like when they kill Imperial Jamon, I'm just like, yo, hold up. Anyone gonna react to the fact that you just killed Viamon and Warmon, who are also your friends?
Or like, you just saw like an evil version of Imperial Jamon just show up out of nowhere. Don't you think you should maybe call Davis and be like, hey, is Viamon okay?
If I remember the end of if I remember the beginning of the third film correctly, and it's been a while since I've seen it, they do open with them going to Ken's apartment to try to find him. So I'm curious. So I'm not going to harp on it too much longer. I just think that the reaction to the O2 kids was a little lackluster. In these movies.
I would say that's just like my biggest problem with a Tri, because I know Tri is about the original Digi-Destined, but the fact that they are still very well connected with the O2 kids is like, guys,
and you can't make the excuse that they just don't know where they are, because TK and Kari are more connected with the O2 kids than they are with the O1 kids.
Yeah, they're the bridge, essentially.
So because they're there, you never have a moment. And we talked about this in Reunion, and we're going to harp on it forever. But like we talked about in Reunion, the fact that like they never say, hey, where are they? Where are the other kids? Where are your friends? We have other Digi-Destined friends that we can call on, but they don't ever have a moment where they wonder, gee willikers, it's really strange that we haven't seen them. And that bugs me. Like, if the mystery is, one of the mysteries of this franchise, of this series of movies, was where are the O2 kids, I'd feel more comfortable with them not being in this movie.
Right.
But it's not. They barely address it at all. Anyway, this movie has my most hated line in the entire Tri films.
What?
Look out. TK's digivolving to Flirtmon.
Yeah.
Kill it with fire. Kill it with fire.
Yeah, that was a bad line. Actually, the note I have was how Mimi is just a gossip queen, and how like she's like, and how they're trying to she's like, overshare, tell me everything.
Ben, Mimi is chaos incarnate in this movie.
Oh yeah, of course. is.
I don't like these cool things. I'll volunteer and I'll make her do it with me.
Yep, just like, hey, I just transferred back from living in the States for like 3 years, but I'll do it. That's fine.
Yeah, man. She Mimi is a lot of fun. This is actually probably the most I've liked Mimi because she's actually confronted with the fact that she is super narcissistic, but not like people are endeared to her for a reason. Her friends like her for a reason, and it's because of her her ability to love. She isn't. She does have narcissistic tendencies, but that's misconstrued by a lot of people as being a negative thing. Whereas she is very passionate about her friends and she wants to protect them at all costs, which is what we see when personified with Palmon. So I really like the conversation between her and Joe when they're looking out at the water.
Yeah, I mean, you were talking about how she loves her friends and that she has the crest and sincerity for a reason.
Yeah,
I mean, you're absolutely right. She does. Because when she was talking, I absolutely love that scene with her and Joe at the waterfront.
Me too. I think it's a beautiful scene. It's well written. It's well acted. I'm so into it.
Like both Joe and Mimi, because even once again, looking back on the original series, Joe and Mimi, especially in the very beginning of like the Devilmon arc, they were butting heads a lot. They did not like each other, and it wasn't until like later on they were with them fighting and growing with each other that they learned to like. She has their thing, he has his thing, and they essentially became like a power couple, to excuse the phrase, but they work extremely well together. They're essentially yin and yang, whereas Joe is very introverted and quiet and he's focused on his studies. Mimi's the party girl. She goes out, but Joe is always reliable, and when Mimi tells you something, she's always sincere, hence their crests. That's why they have those.
Yeah, I really like it, like that scene, because one of the things I think Tri does really well, honestly, all of the Digimon franchises that center around these heroes does really well, it is personify their crests in unique and interesting ways. Their crests are important, obviously, to the first series, but afterwards, when they lose the crest, it's not really that important. It could be seen as not really that important, but just because they lose the crest doesn't mean that's not who they are. They won those crests because that is who they are. And I really think that scene on the waterfront personifies both of their arcs in this movie very well. We've talked a little bit about Mimi, but let's move on to Joe, because Joe, he's, from the outside perspective, being very selfish about having to do these tests. And it's making Gomamon feel really bad. By the way, Joe gave Gomamon a cell phone. That's incredible.
That is awesome. It's like, here, buddy, here's a phone. It's like, how does Gomamon use it? He doesn't have fingers.
Gomamon texts on it too. It's really funny.
I can only imagine Gomon's just using his front two claws, like his index claws, and he's just slowly typing. And this is in 2004. Full QWERTY keyboards weren't a thing yet. So he's like constantly pushing the 9 to get to an S or whatever the Japanese character is. He's constantly going. For all of y'all listening,
shot of Gomamon on the phone is very funny to me.
Now, for all y'all kids watching who don't know what a full QWERTY keyboard is, ask your parents what an old cell phone looked like in 2001. It was a time.
I bet you I still have my Crazer.
Your what?
My Crazer?
The bump is a Crazer.
You remember Razors?
Yeah.
The Motorola Razors? It was like the flat phone?
Yeah, of course. Everyone wanted one of those. That was like the it phone before iPhone.
Razors were like this big. Crazers were this big. Same concept, just thinner.
You mean like the LG Juke?
I don't. Now you lost me.
Oh no, there was like a phone that it was like a phone that was like yay tall, this thin, but it flipped like that, and it was
still a flip. It was still a flip phone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Please. I only had flip phones. I never bothered with any of that other shit. I like flip phones. I was a Star Trek kid. You think I didn't want a flip phone?
No, my first cell phone was. I think I still have my first cell phone. Actually, it's just somewhere. But yeah, mine was a flip phone too, because it was always fun to flip it with one hand.
Yeah, man. Flipping is the best part. That's a line from Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Anyway.
It was. Sorry, tangent. But yeah, Joe, I definitely wrote down a note, just like kind of yelling at Joe. It was like, get in the fight. Like, but I understand because he is, although even his parents are kind of, I love how his parents, there's like a really short scene with his parents. Like, obviously, when his mom comes in to give him some food, she's like, and she's just totally chill with Gomamon hanging out there. I just love how every single parent we have seen
Gomamon's making food.
no, I love how every single parental figure we have seen thus far, which is Ty's mom and Joe's parents, and even Izzy's parents, even though we don't see them with Tentomon, they all just are chill with the Digimon there. They're like, Gomamon, please don't bother Joe. Or then like Ty's mom is like, I think Agumon and Gatomon like really enjoy my lunch. Or just totally fine.
They're really, I do like Tri for the sense that they're really kind of loose with the idea that people buy that these are kids in costumes or stuffed animals, and they're just like not monsters running around. Like they take them to the spa and they're just like, boy, those kids have some weird ass costumes.
Who wears a costume to a spa? And then Mekumon wins the one with to get the free food.
Yeah, and everyone's like, oh my god. Mekumon is very cute.
I would, yeah, Mekumon is extremely cute, but I will always forever love's Matt's reaction when Mekumon is declared the winner and he yells, not Gabumon!
Yes.
It's like, that's really? That's what it's like, Matt, that's what you're upset about.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. That's what I'm talking about. This movie is funny. This movie is really, I really like this one. Anyway, but yeah, so Joe has this problem where he is feeling burnt out, right? What Joe is kind of feeling is burnout. He's just kind of like, why does it have to be us? Why can't we have our own lives? I don't want to put my life in danger. I don't want to put Gomamon's life in danger. And Gomamon's taking that personally because he's like, it's our destiny to do this. And if you don't want to be my partner, then that's fine. But I'm not going to stop fighting. And we see that when Gomamon goes after Mekumon. I mean, Gomamon's a trooper. Like this dude, he goes after Mekumon without his partner. He can't digivolve. Gomamon, as a rookie, lands a couple of hits on an Imperial Jamon who is a mega.
Yeah, and he tanks some hits from Imperial Dramon, and the whole time I'm watching this, I'm like, did he just seriously tank a mega attack as a rookie? That dude should have been wiped from existence.
Gomamon's MVP. That dude is killing it. He's just like, I don't care. Mekumon's in trouble. This is my job. I'm going for it. Imperial Jamon, I don't care how big you are. Smack.
Like Togemon is also landing some good punches against Imperial Dramon.
Well, Togemon. So let's rewind a bit and talk about Togemon's fight with Ogremon.
Oh, right, yeah.
Because Mimi has a moment where she's like, we're gonna show that because she's really hung up on the fact that people are seeing Digimon as bad people, as bad things. Like all Digimon are bad. Right. And she's like, no, not all Digimon are bad. And I want to show that by fighting this bad Digimon with Togemon. And it goes wrong. And she takes that very hard. And
of course,
that mixed with the narcissist moment where her classmates are like, we're not going to wear these dresses. I mean, fair. They're high school kids.
Yeah.
And they have and I really like that kind of moment that signifies what she is dealing with in this movie, with the fact that like she knows that they're a good Digimon. She's always known that they're a good Digimon. You know, you remember in the show, she made friends with Digimon left and right. She was the sweetest when it came to Digimon. If
I remember correctly, she was the one who essentially helped Ogremon turn a new leaf.
Yeah, she was. That's why this Ogremon thing is so personal for her.
Because to her, Ogremon is a friend, even in the shows, like Ogremon's like, I'm a virus Digimon. I should not be hanging out with a vaccine Digimon like Leomon. We're mortal enemies. And she's like, why?
Right.
Why?
Yeah, so I do kind of wish there was more on that one, because I think Ogremon kind of disappears halfway through the movie.
He just bounces out and he's like, peace out, bye.
It's entirely possible that Leomon killed him.
True.
So Leomon, and it would make sense that Leomon would try to kill Ogremon in the digital world because he could be reborn. Because if a Digimon dies in the real world, they can't be reborn.
No.
Which is why the Leomon moment sucks so badly.
Yeah.
By the way, another reaction that wasn't big enough. I really appreciate that they were like, "Hey, Leomon, come join us at this hangout and blah blah blah." But when he dies and they're all just kind of shocked, I get the shock, but like Ty should be seeing red. Like with Ty's arc and this whole thing of like how all these Digimon all these people are dying and blah blah blah. When Leomon dies from Mekumon, I'm shocked that Ty isn't just like ready to kill Mekumon.
I'm shocked that Agumon didn't warp Digivolve to War Greymon and just smack the crap out of Mekumon for that.
Yeah, Mekumon also, we learn in this movie, is also a champion like Gatomon.
Yeah,
which I like that. I like seeing. Oh, I took a picture of it. I took a picture of a crazy scene. So I want to show you a fun little image I took at the spa sequence, which is, let me see if I can. It's coming into focus. Can you see it?
I see Ty.
Damn it! Come on, come into focus. Damn it!
Oh yeah, Agumon, his derpy face.
I really like the animation of the first film. I think the animation in this film is a little weird. Whoever animated this movie cannot animate Agumon very well.
There were times that there were some weird edits in this movie.
Yeah.
And there were some like weird flashing scenes like that just flash for a hot second, then cut to a different one. Like I could have swore that the kids running up to May in the schoolyard, like they'd use the same clip twice. I will say that there's some odd edits, but I just kind of chalked it up to just Digimon being Digimon. Because obviously in the original show when it was airing, the dub was heavily censored for kids here in America. Like, I don't know why, I just remember the scene of Palmon just trying to suck up some nutrients in soil, but it was like a shot of the city and you just hear the voices of Mimi and Palmon and you can see her just going, but it's like, she's a plant. Just how come I can't see her fingers go into the dirt? She's a plant. That's what plants do.
Right. So, speaking of weird animation moments, one thing that I thought was strange, we see Gabumon take off his fur.
Oh yeah, he does that. He does do that.
That was really weird.
I once again, back in the old show, I remember the one time he took his fur off to keep Matt warm, and he was just like, he goes, I'm naked.
It's always weird. I never expect it, and it's always weird.
Yeah, but we don't see him without.
We do. In the bath. We see him come up, and he's just pure yellow or whatever.
Oh, that's so weird.
It's always weird. I really like Joe and Goemon's relationship. I think I've already mentioned that before. But I want to move into the resolution of Joe and Goemon's relationship, because when Kari goes up to Joe and says Goemon's gonna die, like if you don't get there, like you're gonna lose Goemon forever.
Yeah.
And Joe has a kind of come to Jesus moment where he's like, I'm okay, fine, I'm here, I'm gonna do this. And Goemon, and I gotta tell you, seeing both Palmon and Goemon reach their mega forms and have that be the culmination of both Mimi and Joe's arc in this movie really worked for me. And it's an incredible moment.
It's really funny to see how it's Joe and Mimi, their Digimon, being the first outside of Ty and Matt to see their Pokemon, to see their Digimon reach Mega.
Both their Megas look awesome. I love Goemon's Mega form.
Rosemon's hot.
Of course. Of course. I always like Lilymon. It's okay.
No. Lilymon is adorable. She's cute, but Rosemon.
Yeah. All right. Just wait till Angelomon comes up. We'll talk then.
Hey, I am not ashamed to admit that when I was a kid, I had the biggest crush on Angelomon, but I'm pretty sure everyone did.
Look, when you're kids, you can't separate the difference between animation and live action. It makes perfect sense. There is no shaming on this show.
No. But what I also wanted to spotlight is that, remember last time we were talking about how the Digivolution scenes were growing on me. I love how when they go from Champion to Mega, and I kind of miss this with Reunion. I love how one of my favorite things about in the original show is when they would Digivolve from Champion to Ultimate, their Digivices would change color. and they
Yeah.
would do like the whole sequence. And in this one, their Digivices still change color. You see the crest in their Digivolution form, and it like envelops over them when they go from champion to ultimate. I think that's really cool. I actually really dig that, because we know that they don't have their crests anymore, but just because they don't have their crests doesn't mean they can't Digivolve anymore.
Well, there was a while where they couldn't Digivolve to Ultimates because they didn't have their crest. There was something, and it's been so long since I've seen Adventure 2. There's something in Adventure 2 that made it possible for them to reach their ultimate forms again.
Oh yeah, there was. I just can't remember.
Again, this is half remembrance of a show I watched in the 90s.
Yeah, I just like, because I remember I want to say it was Apocalypse who destroyed the kids' crests, and then they just had
the crest. No, the crest. They used the crest to rebirth the digital world.
Right, they did.
At the end, and we don't learn that until Adventure 2. When the Adventure 2 starts, and they're like, "Remember, here's what happened. Here's why they don't have the crest," and it's because they gave up their crest to rebirth the digital world.
Well, shit. Should we watch the Adventure 1 and 2 before doing Try?
It's 54 episodes. If you want to give it a go for it.
Maybe some other time. But yeah, going but anyways, going back to the Digivolution scene where you see like Joe's Digivice turn black and you see Mimi's turn green. I'm like, that's cool. I like that.
Me too. I always appreciated that. I think the Digivolution sequences look really cool. As Zudomon is his ultimate form. What is his mega form's name?
Vicamon,
yes. It's really cool because like, doesn't it come down from Zudomon and Vicamon's silhouette is there, and then so good.
Same with Lilymon and Rosemon.
Yeah, I really like their mega forms. I really like their Digivolutions in this series. Seeing them reach mega is very emotional, and it's a solid emotional beat that really like, if you're a fan of Digimon Adventure, if you grew up watching them, I fail to see a time where it won't hit for you on an emotional level.
I will never forget when watching the Digivolution scenes in the show, when there's like the third act of the episode, and the big showdown is about to go down. And because there were times where I'm watching the show, I'm like, okay, Togemon is gonna Digivolve, but then it's like it pulls a switcheroo on you, and it's like, no, it's Greymon. Greymon's gonna Digivolve. Yeah. And I mean, because Metal Greymon's freaking awesome. I freak out. I'm like, yeah, Metal Greymon. But then when we finally see Lilymon for the first time, I'm like, whoa, that's cool.
Yeah, yeah. No, I don't know if I have much more to add about that one, but like, yeah, I was just thinking about Vicamon. Vicamon's so cool.
Vicamon's rad, but also like what I was trying to, a point I was going to get at is that with the original show, there was an order to things. Like the episodes, it's like Ty first, then Matt, then Sora, then Izzy, then Mimi, then Joe, then TK. There's like an order to this. That's like almost the exact same order as when they got their crests, and when they would and when their champions would Digivolve into their ultimates. So with these movies, to kind of shift the formula, is like, obviously we know about Ty and Matt. We know about War Greymon, Metal Garurumon since forever. And having, instead of it being Sora and Izzy, it's Joe and Mimi getting their megas first. So it's a nice, because they're like more on the back end of the spectrum. But then to have their emotional moment, because I even wrote down a note about their I want to say, what did I write down? Joe and Mimi having some hardcore feelings time on the waterfront, and just
that's one of the things that are, sorry, real quickly, just to kind of accentuate your point, because I agree 100%. I think the thing that's really good about this movie, that I really like about this movie anyway, the reason why I like it so much is because Joe and Mimi are probably the least defined of the original Digi-Destined, if I had to say. I would not say that they're not good characters. Then they are. They've got good character moments, and they are good characters in their own right. But I really liked focusing on them in a way that gave them a fun arc, and it's an arc that I really liked. And it's not. I think Ty and Matt have an arc in the first movie, but I think Mimi and Joe's arc is more resonant to who those characters are. I think Ty and Matt are kind of going through the same character arc they've been going through the entire time.
Yeah.
But now to see Joe and Mimi get this spotlight of a full-on character arc. They are the main characters of this movie. and that's not something you would have seen in the show.
Yeah, and also,
And I really like that.
and to be honest, it kind of answers the question of we saved the world. Now what?
Yeah.
And both Joe and Mimi are going at this through different lenses because they thought the fight was over. They thought that the battle has been won. They don't have to worry about it anymore. But then here comes May with Mako with Mekumon, and and of course all this Digimon incursions. Mimi is like, cool, let's jump back into the fight. Whereas Joe is like, I need to grow up. I can't be doing this anymore.
Yeah, like,
And
why
both-
us?
Yeah, and then both of them come to the realization of we have to do this. And even though Mimi she jumps into the fight, but she leapt before she looked. And while Joe is wrestling with his own feelings of why does it have to be us? I don't want to be Digi-Destined, or essentially, I feel like he doesn't want to be Digi-Destined anymore. But he comes to the terms that I am the only one. I am one of very few people who can do this. So he accepts that he has to.
He comes to the same realization that Matt is trying to get Tai to realize. If not us, then who?
Right.
You know, Joe doesn't want to be a Digi-Destined anymore. He loves Gomamon and he loves his friends, but he doesn't want to do this anymore. He's getting older. He wants to move on with his life. Why does he have to put his life in danger all the time? And Mimi is ready to go head first back into the danger. She loves it. But Joe has the realization of like, you know what? If I don't do this, then who will?
Right.
If I don't do this, Gomamon will do it without me, and I don't want him to die. So I'm going to do it with him. It's going, and he has, and I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that for Joe. And let's not sugarcoat it. Palmon goes Mega purely out of spite that Gomamon did it first. Like, there's because everyone's like, oh my god, I've never seen Gomamon reach this level before, and Mimi literally gets up and goes, Palmon, you do it too. Like that's all that happens.
She's like, Lilymon, go, and Lilymon's like, she's like, oh what? And then she Digivolves into Rosemon.
I think that's really funny, and that's not to speak badly about her arc, because I do think Mimi's arc works in this movie, but I found it very funny that like Vikemon is very clearly the end of Joe's arc in this film, and Mimi was just like, hang on, I can do that too. And I just thought it was funny.
But it's not done in a spiteful way. It's not done in a, oh well, screw you. It's not like anything you do I could do better. It's oh, if he can do it, I can do it. It's like they're building each other up, and I love it.
I wonder if that Imperial Digimon is a fake.
I'm 99% sure, because his color scheme is different. I have a feeling that it's just an evil version of Imperial, like a fake evil Imperial Dramon, that they're just like, who do we know who's strong that can take these kids out? Imperial Dramon, shove them out there.
Because Ken being there with Imperial Dramon does connect the dots of like, okay, well, this is Ken, because Wormmon is one half of Imperial Dramon. So, okay, well, this is going to be the problem here, because this makes sense because Ken has Imperial Dramon. I would believe the fact, because again, there's no way you killed Vmon and Wormmon.
Oh, hell no.
I would be pretty sure of the fact that this is a fake Imperial Dramon, especially because Vikemon and Rosemon killing Imperial Dramon is quite a feat. Imperial Dramon is a very strong Mega. You know, I think he's about as strong or close to as strong as Omnimon.
I mean, he is a DNA Digivolve, so
he's a very strong Mega. And so like power scaling in anime is like whatever. I don't want to get into the whole debate.
Well, even power scaling a Digimon is absolutely nuts too.
Sure. But like I would buy that, because I do know who this Ken is. I don't know if you remember.
I don't.
So I won't spoil it. We'll get there. I do remember who this Ken is actually. I do wonder if to create that illusion, they also created a fake Imperial Dramon.
Probably.
It was very cool when he turned into his night mode, though.
It was rad. I will not lie. Let's see. Another note I have is who's the cloaked Digimon. You know, the one that we see running around all over the place. I know that question is going to be answered eventually, so I'm like, I'll just let that go for now. But I'm just like, something in the back of it's like something to be like, hey, remember me, this guy, we gotta watch out for this guy. Another just a fun note. Sorry, I was gonna say just another fun note I have is Himikawa is a damn good wing woman for sending Izzy that picture of Mimi, and Izzy just instantly Oh, Izzy, you thirsty bitch.
Oh my god, Tentomon is so funny in this movie. Did you hear back from that Nigerian prince? Oh, mama!
I think I know what sweating is now.
I really like Tentomon in this movie.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know sweat or this or that, but I do know this.
Himikawa, we get more of her in this movie. And I think she's pretty good. She's really interesting to watch until the end, where she sees Mekumon get infected and she smiles about it.
Yeah, I actually wrote down that my last note was evil Mekumon and Himikawa smiling at Leomon's deletion. Oh, she's up to something.
Yeah, she's clearly fake. She's clearly in this for something. I like that there's an organization that knows about Digimon. I think that's interesting because they even fight Ogremon without the Digi-Destined for a while.
Yeah, they have these new guns that hurt Digimon. It's like, haha, we found a way. It's like, oh no, our way doesn't work all the best.
Yeah. Man, Tentomon's really funny in this movie. The Digimon just in general, I think, are really fun in this movie. I'm glad they gave him more personality.
I 100% agree. I would definitely say for character development, I enjoyed this movie a whole lot more than I did the first one. I mean, the first one was, once again, it's a hidden. It's kind of like, this is probably a very bad analogy, so please don't come at me with this. Watching Reunion is kind of like watching episode 7 of Star Wars for the first time. It's like, it's familiar, and you see some of the characters again. You get that nostalgia.
Did you just compare Determination to The Last Jedi?
Yeah.
That's incredible. I love that. No,
and Determination is where you get the character stuff that you need, i.e. The Last Jedi.
I love that. Don't add us. So I do want to say that I think that what's interesting about Reunion is, I think Reunion kind of suffers a little bit in its editing. I don't actually think there's anything necessarily wrong with the Reunion. I think it does focus mostly on nostalgia because we are dealing with more with Ty and Matt. There's a lot of kind of been there, done that when we're dealing with their specific arc here. And this one feels refreshing to me because it's dealing with Mimi and Joe, which are characters that historically just didn't get a lot to do in the original series. So I really appreciate the series. I also think it's better edited. I also think it's just better paced. This movie didn't feel like 2 episodes stitched together like the first one did.
Right.
And that's kind of where I firmly kind of fall under this is, I think, a better showing for this series of movies than Reunion is. Also,
side MVP award too, I think, goes to Kari because she's just fed up with everyone's bullshit.
Yeah, I love it.
She's like, I mean, I'll forgive the Flirtmon line just for a little bit.
I won't. I'll never forgive Flirtmon.
But at the same time, Kari's like, yo, Joe, get on your shit.
I do appreciate that when Izzy goes to the classroom to see Mimi in her outfit. And he's dressed in a bow tie. But I really love that TK and Kari walk in and like totally like crash his vibe.
Of course.
It's really funny. And TK is only there to flirt with Mako.
You mean Mimi? Oh no! Oh, no, right, Mako. Right.
Yeah, TK's there for Mako, and I just think it's really funny. Yeah, I like this movie, man. This one's a good one. Do you want to rate it?
I would give this. Let's see. I said 7.5 for Reunion, right?
I think so. Yeah, I think we both did.
I would definitely give this one an 8. This is a solid 8. There were still some. I mean, the editing is better, but there were some edits that I'm just like, eh. But once again, I could just chalk that up to Digimon being Digimon. But the character development between Joe and Mimi is 100% spot on. We do get little bits and pieces of of Matt and Ty still kind of like,
they're beefing.
Being the angry, the old married couple who is constantly in an argument. But the fact that we see more of Joe and Mimi's personalities and them having this whole thing and them come to realize that they need to take better care of themselves and they are doing this for a good reason, I think is spot on. And you're absolutely right. This does give them more agency in here than they never had in the original shows.
Yeah, I really like this movie. I'm gonna give it an 8 also. I thought this one was really fun. When we were watching Reunion, I was like, oh man, maybe I don't want to go through all of these again. But when I watched this one, I was like, oh yeah, no, I want to go through all these, baby. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Let's go.
I really enjoyed this one. I really like seeing their new megas. I really like seeing the focus on Mimi and Joe. I think their arcs are great. I think their scenes together are great. I think Joe and Gomamon have some standout sequences. And look, you get an extra star because you gave Gomamon a cell phone.
Yeah.
And I just think that's incredible.
I just want to see him like type a text message. That would be the funniest thing.
All right, so that'll do it.
He doesn't have thumbs. How does he do it?
He does it like this. We know how he does it. That'll do it.
That'll do it.
All right, so that's determination. What's the third one?
Confession?
Can you look it up real quick while I do our outro? All right, so that's Digimon Adventure Tri, Part 2, Determination. Thank you so much for joining us on this one. We'll be back for the third film, Digimon Adventure Tri, Part 3. Maybe Confession. We'll see, though. Ben was going to check it out now.
I'm looking it up. I'm just going to look at the wiki.
Just scroll down the wiki. Actually, I probably looked this up on Letterboxd. But anyway, that's we're gonna go through all these. We're still gonna go through all of these. I hope you guys will join us on this journey. We're gonna go all the way through Last Evolution, Kazuna.
Third film was Confession.
So you're right. So yeah, we're gonna go all the way to Last Evolution, Kazuna, which is the final Adventure 1 film. And then whenever Adventure 2, the beginning, drops, we will also review that one. So Ben, once again, thank you for doing this with me.
Of course.
It's a lot of fun. Guys, there's plenty of other shows you can check out. Currently, a lot of our shows are impacted due to the strike, so please check them out. Please check out what that is on our website at FakeNerdPodcast.com, as well as links to all of our other shows you can find. There are shows that aren't impacted by the strike. If you're a video game guy, you're watching Digimon, maybe you're a video game guy. There's a Venn diagram there.
Yeah.
Can check out our video game show, Basement Arcade pause menu. And if you're a comic book fan, you're a Digimon guy, there may be a Venn diagram there of comic books and Digimon. I think there's Digimon manga. I'm pretty sure there might be.
Well, Dark Horse did release comic books that was essentially the single issue was the episode of the TV show. I had like the first 4 issues. I think I still do have them somewhere.
There you go. There's a Venn diagram there. Check out our Fake Nerd Book Club series. Those are the major series that are not impacted by the strike. But of course, you can check out our Fake Nerd podcast series, which is going on every other week right now as the strikes are going on, where we update you on what the strikes are, some comic book news and things like that. That's basically just a news show now, where we can just hang out. That's every other Sunday morning. So check us out live on this channel. If you like this video and you subscribe to this channel. Only if you do that, though. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to this channel. But this was Animation Station. There's plenty of other animation stations. This is primarily our co-host Sparkz' show. We are borrowing for these Digimon episodes, so be sure to check out more of these things. You can also check us out on Patreon and TeePublic if you want to support us financially. They're all linked below, as well as all the strike links. They're linked below if you support the strike, which I hope you do. Please support and acknowledge yourself. Have some fun. You can also check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Fake Nerd Podcast, FakeNerdGuys@gmail.com if you'd like to get in touch with us personally. I'm at BT McClure on Instagram and Twitter. You can also find me writing for CBR.com, AtomicGeekdom.com, and KaijuRamenMedia.com. Ben?
You can find me on the internet at BenMagnet27, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Threads. And you can also find me writing for Old School Gamer Magazine, Fusion Gaming Magazine, GoNintendo.com, and playing Mary Frankenstein in Dean Dark. And as the day of this recording, the newest episode of our mid-season finale just dropped, part 3 of 4. So there's time to catch up because there's still one more episode left until the mid-season finale.
Thank you for getting me through my miles, by the way. I was listening to Dean Dark while I was working out.
You're welcome.
I did my 3 miles and I was like, oh, I'm not done with the episode. I'm going to go 1 more mile. But anyway, so that's it, guys. Please check out Dean Dark. Very good show. Congratulations, Ben. And the whole cast there. So that's it, guys. So until next time you see us, we are departing the station. I should have looked up what the ending is. I think we're departing the station.
That makes sense.